Welcome viewers to another Copenhagen Middle-earth Battle Gamers video. I'm your host Rob, and today I'm going to be showing you a few of the miniatures that I've been working on over the last week. So let's have a look. Okay, so this is the first model I'll be showing you today, and as you can see it is the Cave Drake. Very nice big model. I don't really see a lot of big models on my videos, so I think this is actually the first one after the Troll, but this is definitely bigger than the Troll. It was a real joy to paint, but quite a bit of a pain to build. I don't know if any of you guys have had experience building this thing. This model is actually in resin, so there's a bit of bending to do, as you can imagine with resin. I had to bend the tail more specifically because the casting wasn't great, so it was kind of like really off the base when I was gluing it, so that when the tail tip would touch the base, the model, like on the feet, was actually raised, so I had to bend it, and I also tried to give it a little bit of a curve in it just to give it a bit more fluidity. So that was easy. That was actually my first time actually trying to manipulate resin, and it went pretty well, so that was lucky. The model itself, colour scheme wise, Christian wanted the colours to be as true to Games Workshop interpretation of the colours, so I did my best with that. So we went to the store, we put our heads together to figure out a good base colour for it, and the scales, we chose Steglodon Scale Green, so that had a big coat of that. I think I did 3 layers of that just to give a nice base colour for that, and then the scales were washed in a mixture of Drakenhof Nightshade and Colia Green Shade, like a 50-50, just to kind of get both the blue tone and the green tone in there. Once that was dried, I gave several dry brush coats of Steglodon Scale Green again, and then I would add a little bit of Warboss Green into the Steglodon just to try and brighten up a little bit, and I would do that maybe 4 times, and on the final dry brush I would just put a little bit of Iriel Yellow in it, and it came out pretty nice. I think I quite like the tone. I don't know if you can see it very well here, but the recesses of the scales are very nice and dark, and there is a good transition of the colour up to the lighter green, so that went pretty well. The underbelly, that was done in Ushepati Bone as a base colour, and then I gave it a watered down shade of Drakenhof Nightshade, more diluted to the centre of the belly and more concentrated to the joining of the scale to skin, and then that had several layers of Ushepati Bone over it again just to bring out the colour. The eye is just a pure dot of Iriel Yellow. That's nice and easy, nice and bright. At the tongue, that was a mixture of Evil Sun Scarlet and Ushepati Bone. Very, just find a nice easy pink tone to go with, and then that had a watered down wash of Doombull Brown, which is a bit odd, but it actually gave a sort of nice sort of swelled bruised purplish tone to it at the end, so that actually worked kind of well. That was a bit of a test, but it went pretty well, so I was pretty chuffed with that. But yeah, on the whole, awesome model, and I feel very pleased that I actually had the opportunity to paint one of these, because it's not in my to buy list. So that's the bonus about doing some of these models for Christian, is that I get to experience the joy of building and painting them without actually buying them. So that was very nice for me. Yeah, and I'm actually gonna go drop it off to him right now, so he's very excited about that. He just came back from a trip to France, and I'm sure he's been thinking about this the entire trip. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be well, I certainly hope he'll be happy with the result. Okay, so here are 3 additions to my Kingdoms of Men armies. On the right we've got a King of Men. In the middle is a Faramir on foot, and on the left is Dwinhir. All of these were lovely models to paint. Probably the King was my favourite because it's probably the most unique of them all, and
getting to grips with what colours I should use and all the different layers of the robes, that was very tricky. And also getting a cohesive tone to the costume was quite difficult. But I was pretty chuffed with the way it came out. The blue tabard on the front is basically the same as I use on all of my Minas Tirith as the main primary colour. The inner robe, that was a mixture of Evil Sun Scarlet and Doomball Brown. That had a wash of Agrax Earthshade and then was just highlighted again in the same two colours there. So that was nice and easy. The undercloth of the cape, like the green, that was probably the hardest one to figure out. And I did decide to go with the green, and I think it works pretty well, luckily. That was, again, a mixture of War Boss green and Doomball Brown. I think the reason why the tone is the same in all of them is because it does incorporate the Doomball Brown in almost all of the cloth. And I wanted that an olive green. I thought that was going to work the best, and I didn't have one, so I had to faff around a bit with the mixtures and see if I could manipulate a good colour. And fortunately, after probably several different mixtures, I found this one, and it worked fine. So you can have a little close up of him. Really cool model. I think there are 4 poses for a King of Men, and this one was definitely my favourite, mostly because I don't know if it was on purpose, but it resembles one of the Kings of Men in the film that turns out to become Nazgul, like in the small scene in the intro. So I liked him a lot, and he was a lot of fun to paint. You see the green there. That was washed there with a mixture of Agrax Earthshade and Nuln Oil, just to get a nice dark tone, but also using the Agrax Earthshade to keep that kind of brown undertone going through it. So yeah, he was a lot of fun and quite unique in my Kingdoms of Men, purely because of the variety of colour that I used for him. Next up we'll have a look at the Faramir model. And I love this Faramir model so much, mostly because the mounted version of him in this armor, the specific armor, is not only one of my favourite models that Games Workshop has produced, but is also my most prized possession, in the sense that not only am I really happy with the way I painted the mounted version, but also probably because it's my most valuable model in the case of what the original Games Workshop price was and what its current value is now. So in that sense, it's my most valuable model. And again, this guy was a lot of fun to paint because I just love the model. I love the aesthetics of it. I love the cloak. I love the shield design. Everything about that model is just fantastic. And I know that this isn't a Games Workshop model, but look, if you didn't know, you would think it was, because it's absolutely spot on. Every single detail is absolutely fantastic, and the quality is absolutely beautiful. I noticed, actually, when I was painting this model, that I was enjoying it so much, I've actually ended up highlighting it to a higher standard than the rest of my Minas Tirith. So he's slightly brighter blue than the rest of them, but that's okay, I don't mind, because it looks fantastic. And for most of the games, he's going to be my general, so him being painted to a slightly higher quality is absolutely fine by me. As you can see, I tried doing a bit of freehand on the inner side of the shield, and I am not great at straight lines, so that is the only thing that kind of lets it down for me personally. Trying to make it look like wooden panels. So maybe if I get a brand new brush, a good fine detail brush, I might try and redo that. It shouldn't take long, and maybe, yeah, with a brand new fresh brush, it will probably be a little easier than than what I have currently. But that's probably the only downfall for me personally on the model. It was great. Next up, let's give a little switcheroo. We've got Twin here to go with my Fiefdoms Alliance for my Minas Tirith. Again, very cool model. I think he's pretty rare. I mean, I'm not overly knowledgeable about what's super rare and what's not. But Christian had this for me. Once again, he always finds all the models that I can't get hold of. God bless him. And he was a good fun model to paint as well, because I was also using new colours and stuff. For example, his cape, that was done in a base coat of Stegledon Scale Green, and that is going to be the primary colour for all of my, what are they called, Black Root Veil archers and stuff. And he was a lot of fun. The little tabard underneath here, that was done in a base coat of Doomball Brown. Which had a wash of Nuln Oil when that dried, a wash of Agrax Earthshade, watered down layers of Doomball Brown in the higher regions, and then when that dried after 2 times, I added a little bit of Steel Legion Drab into the Doomball Brown just to lighten up a little bit as the very highest highlight. And the cape was just a wash of Agrax Earthshade and then re-highlighted again in Stegledon Scale Green. But again, cool model, very cool model actually. He's very cool. Even had a go at getting his little teeth, which is never an easy job. I don't know if you noticed, but I never bother doing eyes at all on my models. I think that's it's just too hard, unless it's an evil model, in which case it's just like a red or yellow dot. Then that I can manage. But pupils, I do not bother with, never ever ever. So yeah, those are my 3 new leaders for my Kingdoms of Men armies.
Okay, and now we're going back to some of my Age of Sigmar stuff. These, as you can see, are some dwarves. These are models that I got, I think, last Christmas from my fiance, because I pestered her so much into getting them for me because I was absolutely desperate. I thought they were really, really cool, and I've always wanted a dwarf army, and seeing as Morton is currently doing his Lord of the Rings dwarf army, I thought I would go for something a little different, but still staying with dwarves. So yeah, so I got some Age of Sigmar stuff. As you can see, they are on square bases because I haven't actually gotten around to getting them any round bases, so they're just on there for now. As you can see, also why I haven't based them properly, I've just painted the bases. So yeah, I'll probably move them onto round bases eventually. But what we do have here is 10 Thunderers, which are the guys on the right, and just currently 4 Miners. I've got another 4 to do. If any of you are Age of Sigmar or Warhammer Fantasy players, you'll recognise that these models came from the starter box set a couple of years ago. Very, very nice models, a lot of fun to paint. I'm enjoying the colour scheme I'm going for, it's nice and bright. These are actually one of the only armies that I prime in white, just so I can get some really nice crisp colours going on. Also why it's they're very easy to paint, because you don't need to do a lot of layers to get a good strong colour. It's basically one coat. Even on the yellows, I think I only did 1 coat on the beards to get that nice bright colour. So they were very, very nice and easy to paint in that respect, in the sense that you're not using time constantly painting over the same thing several times. I can tell you that the red is Evil Sun Scarlet, and the blue is Calador Sky, which then all had a wash of Nuln Oil, and then just re-highlighted again in exactly the same colours, just with watered down paint. And then I might do 2 coats of that or something, and then you get a really nice transition. So in that sense, there's not a lot of mixing of colours or anything to do on these guys, which also makes them a lot nice and easy to paint. I think the colour scheme is nice and strong, and I don't know if it is an actual clan or whatever they're called in the Warhammer lore or whatever. Red and blue, I have no idea, but I thought it would work well. And seeing as one of my other armies for Age of Sigmar is orcs, I didn't want to do another green army, so went for red and blue. As you can see, the miners here also sporting the red and blue to try and tie them in with the rest of the army. Really loving that little lantern there. Trying to figure out how to do that in a quick way, and I basically just used some very vibrant yellow paint, just filled it in, and then I mixed a bit of Wild Rider red, mixed that with a bit of Lamia medium, and then I just stuck it in, and it worked very well. It just goes in all the creases and gives a nice kind of glowy effect also around the rim of the medal. So yeah, that was really cool and easy once again. Seeing a lot of these technical paints really do make painting a lot easier. So I'm very happy for. So yeah, that is a load of dwarves. Hope you like them. I only got a few left to paint up, and then my current collection of dwarves is completed. So maybe you'll see those around in a future video when I'm in the mood for painting stubbies. Okay, the last models I'll be showing you today are some new Rivendell models that I've added to my collection. In the middle, there are two heroes. We have Glorfindel and we have Arwen. And behind them are four Rivendell warriors with spear and shield. Again, a lot of fun to paint, but quite difficult. I'll also add the ones at the back I'm referring to, because the ones that I bought were from the website, which means they were in resin. And some of the detail on the helmets was a little tricky. Picking out the faces in the helmets was not easy at all. So sadly, they are not necessarily my best work. But I'm blaming Sculpts for that reason. Yeah, it's hard to pick out detail for me if the ink, the washes, sorry, are not going in and picking it out for me, especially when it's in such a small area, such as in the helmet. So that was not easy. But I am pretty chuffed with the way they came out all in all. I really like the colours. I was very happy with the jewels. I think they look very bright and vibrant, and I think green was a good colour choice for that. I thought it was yeah, it stood out quite well in amongst all the gold. I was thinking about red as well and blue, but green was turned out to be the winner in that sense, and I think I made the right choice. Arwen was painted in the same way as I do all my capes, which was nice and easy because she basically is just one colour in that sense. But I'm so happy with the way she came out. I thought she looked fantastic. She's actually turned out to be one of my favourite paint jobs. I really love yeah, what I've done with that. And I, as much as I like the seeish blue green, whatever you call it, the traditional colour that her robes are meant to be, I think the yellow tone works very well. So I'm very happy that I was able to incorporate the colour onto the model without it looking out of place. So I was very happy about that. And of course we have Glorfindel, again painted in the same standard as his men-at-arms. I really like this model, and his profile is awesome as well. I'm definitely glad I got hold of this guy to be my my general, even though I do have Elrond and I do have Gil-galad. I'll probably be using Glorfindel for the most part as my general, because I just think his gear and his rules and everything just seem to work out for the better for his points value. Even though a lot of people do talk about if Glorfindel and Gil-galad are kind of on par in different perspectives, and I suppose depending on what you're going up against, you might want one or the other. But for the most part, I personally think Glorfindel is the better choice. So that was additions to my Golden Rivendell army, as we call it. Um, Being such an elite army, I don't really know if I'm going to be adding any more to it because the army is so damn expensive. And given the point values that we normally play on the channel, I don't think I really require to get any more. I may get some extra heroes just for variety. Aristor I would like to get, I know that. And Elrond's sons I would very much like. I love those models, they're absolutely beautiful. But in regards to standard troop choices, I really don't see the need to get any more. But who's to say what the future brings? But yes, that is all from me today. Thank you very much for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please comment, like, share and subscribe. And happy wargaming!